Good morning. My name is Megan Steiner. I'm the Warning Coordination Meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Great Falls, and this is your Montana Monthly Weather Hazards Briefing. This is a new briefing that we started last month, and so this month we'll be taking a look back at what conditions were like in January and also looking at what conditions we can anticipate as we go into March. Let's start off looking at a recap of temperature departure from, or precipitation departure from averages in January. Much of the state was actually near to even slightly below average, but across western Montana, precipitation amounts were about 2 inches below average. In terms of temperature, it was a cooler month during January. Many areas across the state had temperatures anywhere from 1 to 3 degrees below average during the month of January, and then across the north, temperatures were a little bit warmer, averaging about 1 degree above average. Here's a look at the storm reports across the state for January and February. This started at the end of January after our last briefing and going through just yesterday. So this is a look at all the storm reports. A lot of snow across the area. However, the two big things that happened in January were the record snowfall amounts near Cook City and also along the Rocky Mountain front, where places in East Glacier, Browning, Babb saw anywhere from about 3 to 5 feet of snow in just a few days. That caused a lot of problems, a lot of travel problems, also caused some avalanches, especially along the Highway 2 corridor here. There was a halt in some of the trains, including Amtrak, and also disruptions because of road closures due to avalanche activity along Highway 2. Those were the two big stories. There were some snow events and even some freezing rain events across northwestern Montana, and then we had some strong winds across portions of the state as well. Looking at temperatures, departure from averages, if we look at the month of February, temperatures actually were near to above average for much of the state, the exception being across northwest Montana, where temperatures were actually slightly below average in those areas. If we look at the bigger picture at what things have been like so far this water year, which began on October 1st of 2016, temperatures have generally been near to even below average across much of the state. The exception is across northeastern Montana, where those temperatures have been actually slightly above average. In terms of precipitation for the month of February so far, much of the state has been near and even slightly below average in terms of precipitation. And then if we look at the water year, which again began on October 1st of last year, much of the state doing pretty well in terms of precipitation. We're right around average, right around where we should be for this time of year. There is one exception though, across far southeast Montana, they've been slightly below average so far this water year. This snowpack update map looks a lot different than it did just a month ago. Many of the basins across Montana have improved their snow water equivalent, and much of the state is actually near and even slightly above average in terms of the snow water equivalent percent of normal. The exception is in the Smith, Judith, and Musselshell Basin, where the current snow water equivalent percent of average is about 75% of average. And then in the lower corner here, notice this red solid line and this red black line. So this image is showing overall for the state of Montana all of our snowpack for the state. This red line is what's actually happening, and this solid black line is what's average. So last month we were actually below average as a state in terms of our snowpack, but now we're seeing conditions actually slightly above average. So things have improved statewide in terms of our snow. Looking at the latest drought monitor, this was just updated 2 days ago. And there is a new area across central Montana, including central southern Fergus, Judith Basin, northern Marr County. This area now seeing abnormally dry conditions, and we continue to have a moderate drought over far southeast Montana and also across portions just west of the Continental Divide. Over the next 7 days, we are going to transition and continue to have more of an active weather pattern in place. We will see periods of snow, maybe in some of the lower valleys, even a mix of rain and snow. And then in the mountains, we should see some decent snow accumulations over the next 7 days. Along with that, we will also have cooler temperatures. Here's a look at the next 2-week outlook. That trend may continue throughout the next 2 weeks with better chances for cooler than average temperatures across the state and also better chances for wetter than normal conditions statewide over the next 2 weeks. That may continue even into March. There are indications that through March we could have better chances for cooler than average temperatures statewide, as well as wetter than normal conditions for the month of March. We have finally transitioned out of La Nina, so sea surface temperatures in the equatorial eastern Pacific are actually right around average. So we are neither in a La Nina or an El Nino. What that means is we are in ENSO neutral conditions. And so we should continue to have these neutral conditions through at least spring and possibly a transition towards more El Nino conditions as we go ahead into late summer and into this fall. That's something we will continue to monitor. We are entering March, which is the peak of our ice jam season here in Montana. If you do notice any ice jams forming, please let us know. If you notice any flooding related to ice jams, also please keep us in the loop so that we can get the word out to people to keep people safe. And lastly, we have some new changes coming to our webpage on March 7th. I'll let you take a moment and read the summary of changes and then what you need to be aware of. The biggest impact to you out there will be your bookmarks will need to be updated. So if you have any bookmarks specifically with the point and click, you will need to update those bookmarks on March 7th. A lot of these changes I think are very positive. We should see a lot of improvements with our website. Hopefully you like those as well, and we're open to any feedback once those changes occur. If you notice anything, if you like something, or maybe there might be some problems, please let us know and keep us aware of that so we can pass that information on as well. Thank you for watching. This has been your Montana Monthly Weather Hazards Briefing. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact any of the 4 Montana National Weather Service offices. Have a wonderful day.